Hey Rockstars, I'm JB, expert salesperson and master presenter.
I'm the doctor, psychologist, and behavioral expert.
This is the Entrepreneur Mastery Lab podcast.
We're high-performance coaches that help service-based professionals and entrepreneurs take their skills to the next level.
70% of entrepreneurs fail, which is why every week we have real talk with real entrepreneurs to help ensure you are not one of them.
We're also the inventors of the Be Rich mindset,
where we rise to mastery,
inspire greatness,
celebrate knowledge,
and help others along the way.
So join us in the lab.
And now, on to the show.
What is up, Rockstars? Welcome back to the lab. I'm JB.
I'm the doctor.
If this is your first time joining us, thank you so much for joining the Entrepreneur Mastery Lab, where we have real talk with real professionals every single week, even if it's just the two of us. If you're a returning listener or viewer, thank you so much for joining us again. I'm sure you've already liked, subscribed, or followed, but whether you're returning or you're new, if you haven't, get on it, hit those buttons, give us some love. We appreciate it, and we appreciate you.
Just the two of us. I don't remember the rest of those lyrics, so I'll stop singing there.
I'm not even going to try to sing. Nobody wants to hear me sing. You're got the voice of an angel compared to this guy over here. Moving on. My favorite style of episode, maybe because I get to talk more. I don't know. Don't judge me for that. The quick hit episode, where it's just the two of us talking about a singular topic. And today, what are we talking about, Doc? What's the topic du jour?
We are following up on our beautiful thing that we talked to you getting ready for the new year, because now we are in the new year. So first of all, Happy New Year. This is our first real episode into the new year. Welcome to 2023. Yikes.
Woohoo! I hope everybody's excited that it's 2023. It's a brand new year, new opportunity to get to hit resets.
Well, they have no choice. Still 2023.
They don't have to be excited. I mean, they have a choice around that.
That is true. But they're here. We're here, and we're going to love it.
So
one of the things that we talked about at the end of last year was setting, some goals as opposed to resolutions. Because remember, goals, yay. Resolutions, boo. So we want to follow up with that just to see how everyone's doing. We want to check in on you and see what's going on with your goals. So obviously you're not going to answer us right now, but you can do that by...
I was so confused.
Having some conversations with us. You could always slide into our DMs. And we want to do that because we want to be able to help you guys along to see where you're at. So we just also want to give a little strategy on what we can do with these hashtag goals as we're going into the new year. And you got started. You're 1 week in, so you should be crushing it. Or if you did listen to the episode where we talked about building those goals out, you started way back in December, and now you're really hitting your stride right now.
Hopefully. This is an interesting time because this is where resiliency can start to come into play, Doc. We're already there in the sense that it's the new year. Our goals have been established, or your resolution, if you did a resolution. But it's easy when you're passionate, and on like day one, it's easy. Right? Day one doesn't require mental fortitude, or there's not a lot to push through typically for people on like the first day of setting out on something. But if you did start something back in December or even a week or so ago, this idea that I'm a few days in or a few weeks in, it can be a lot harder to keep up at that point in time. So it takes some resiliency to do it. And I'm curious to hear from you and your perspective. Any tips or tricks for people out there on staying resilient if they start to feel that slip coming? They're not as passionate as they were.
So this is why we talked about planning ahead and trying to get a little bit of start, because if you were doing a little bit at a time, and it doesn't mean it's too late, even if you already got started now, maybe you came out of that. If you did start in the beginning of the year, we're probably about a week in. So if you came out that first week very strong, you might be seeing some of that fade right now. So think about it as we don't have to go on that same pace. We can also pull back a little bit and just start to do those small pieces in there. Find out the areas that you're struggling with, find out the areas that you're doing well. If there's an area that you're doing well in, focus on that and let that really connect. Let that really start to build, get that momentum going, and then add in some of those areas that you might be struggling a little bit with, so that you're not forcing yourself to try to do something that just feels unnatural right now, and you get your chance to kind of get to that. And also to think about it this way, this is a way I like to think about any kind of time we're going on a goal. You're going to come across some speed bumps, right? When you get to a speed bump in your car, you don't turn around and go home. You just slow down and you go over it, and then you continue on. Same thing if you hit a detour. So speed bumps are something a little small. Sometimes the detour is a little bit bigger. But the same thing, you get to that detour, you don't turn the car around and go home. You follow the path of the detour. It might take you a little bit longer to get there. It might be a little bit out of your way, but you still get to the same destination. So when we hit these little hiccups, I like to think of them. Sometimes they're small like speed bumps. Sometimes they're a little bit bigger like detours. But either way, we still keep going and we don't turn around and go home. So don't give up. Just keep pushing through. And just remember that you're going to find those. There's going to be speed bumps. There's going to be detours along the way. And it's okay. You'll still get to your destination if you keep chugging along.
I love that. It's so true. So much of winning in business and as a professional comes down to just showing up and not stopping. And that's not easy to do. It's easy to say. It's simple to do, but simple doesn't mean easy. And we talk about that a lot. The simple things are often the hardest to do, and being consistent and continuing on after speed bumps try to derail you can be difficult. One of my favorite things here, Doc, for the purpose of resiliency and to kind of relight a little bit of that fire, pour some fuel back on the fire, if you will, is just to go back to the what or the why behind your goal, right? What kind of impact was this goal or resolution? Again, but if you did it, what kind of impact was this going to have on your life? What is driving you to do this? And what have you done to get there so far? Even if you're only like 3 or 4 or 5 days into doing something, right? If you've been at it for 3 or 4 or 5 days and you've done well and you're starting to feel that slip, just think about you're 100%, right? Forget about the big picture. You're 100%. You're 4 for 4. You're 5 for 5. You have been 100%. You're 100% on the way to achieving that impact, that result that you had in mind when you set this in front of you. So even if you're just a week in or less, there is something to celebrate here. And there's a reminder that you can go back and look at on what this is. And I'm going to finish with this. If you have not written down what is driving you for this goal, for this dream, for this resolution, go ahead and write it down. And if you have written it down, where is it? Where is it? Look around. Is it in front of you? It probably ought to be in front of you. Get it in front of you so you can have a constant reminder there to help push you along and give you that little bit of extra fuel when you need it.
Speaking of that reminder, so why we say goals yay and resolutions boo? Because a resolution is just a statement. You're not really having anything around it. Now, it doesn't only have to be a goal, but you have to have some sort of strategy and plan around it. And as JV's saying, write it down, because then you can build out from that, right? You know what you're going to do, and then you're going to make the plan on how to make it work, because just writing an idea is just an idea. And that's all resolution is. It's an idea. But when you get to that goal, when you get a strategy, when you get a plan, you have the action steps to do, so you can actually take action. And a few other tips I just want to share real quick as we go along thinking about this, as we are now into it, right? As you're going along, this is where you can do some reassessment really quick to see where you are going well, where you might need some more help. This is where you might start enlisting some help. Like this might be where you're calling on your friends, an accountability buddy, a coach, to see where that you need more assistance in. There's no shame in that this is an actually good time to assess that, because hey, I started in, I'm a week, 2 weeks in. I can see which parts that I can do on my own, and I can see which parts that I'm actually going to need a little assistance with. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with it. It's actually a very good idea to look at that to see where that you might need a little. And like I said, it could be a coach. It might be bringing on somebody. It might also just be an accountability partner. It might just be a friend that might be also on a journey. It might even be the same journey, but it could be something where you can check in on each other. So assess where you're at and what you need to kind of do to keep going in this positive way.
I'll take that one step further, Doc. Implement before you need. Just like hiring and scaling, you don't want to be waiting until you're responding and reacting to a situation. You want to be ahead of it. So if you assess that, hey, I'm good right now, but in the near future, I think I'm going to need some support, implement the support right now It's not a bad thing, right? Sport is meant to support, it helps you, it improves you. Put it in place now, and that way you don't stumble. Otherwise, if you wait until you've already stumbled, well, guess what? You already stumbled. Let's avoid that completely if we can. And a great way to do it, just be ahead of the curve. Just be a little bit early. It's a good thing.
We like preparation as much as possible, but we know both happen. So you have both strategies as you're thinking about it, right? The best way to do it is to get ahead of it. But if you already feel like you're falling, that doesn't mean, again, go backwards. It means just take a slow down, go over that speed bump, go around that detour, get that assistance, and keep pushing forward. We can do this. We have faith in you.
What's the saying? Early is on time is late, and late is never. Or I don't know, I just added the never part. Late is bad. Don't be late.
Boo. So hopefully this has been great. You're taking something from this. We want to encourage you to keep going. Again, we are here for you. You can always come check us out. Always slide into our DMs. Any kind of questions you have, need a little encouragement along the way, we got you.
And if you haven't already, again, quick reminder, give us a like, subscribe, follow. We do this to impact as many people as possible, so we could always use your help to spread the word so more people can find us. I'm JB. I'm out.
And of course, to find us, you just go to our website at jbandthedoctor.com or on all social media at jbandthedoctor. We will see you on the other side. Peace out, yo.